Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, February 21st. Another day of record warmth throughout the eastern U.S. Temperatures this morning, low temperatures this morning, are comparable to levels seen in the latter part of the spring or even the early part of the summer. This afternoon, most areas will climb way up into the 70s, likely reaching record high temperatures once again this afternoon. There were several records that went down yesterday in the eastern part of the U.S., perhaps even more numerous this afternoon given the very warm start to the day. Sunshine is already breaking through any early morning clouds this morning, and again, temperatures way up in the 70s in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Perhaps even a few spots will flirt with the 80-degree mark, especially down across the D.C. metro region. Certainly a record-breaking performance on the way for today. A lot different by tomorrow, however. We'll go from the 70s today to the 40s tomorrow as a strong cold front slides through the area in the overnight hours. Well, let's start off by looking at the 500 millibar height anomalies across North America right now. Very impressive indeed. Whenever you see purple on a map like this, and this comes from the ensemble run of the GFS, called the GEFS, and it's the height anomaly as we stand right now, as we start off the day on Wednesday. Very, very, very strong high pressure ridge situated right along the northeast U.S. coastline right now. That is pumping in the very warm air from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up to New England. And again, many records will go down this afternoon. A few other things I want to point out in the current pattern right here. We have a trough out across the interior west, and this is Greenland right in this region right here. Notice upper level trough situated right over that part of North America. So we have high pressure ridge along the east coast here, and excessive high pressure ridging along the east coast, and troughing over the higher latitudes like Greenland, for example, and a trough over the interior west. Well, just look what happens, what changes occur 10 days from now. Again, this is the forecast from last night's ensemble run of the GFS. We go from this in the upper part of the atmosphere to this in 10 days. Just a tremendous change. First of all, that deep upper level trough is being replaced by very, very strong high pressure ridging over the northern latitudes, over places like Greenland, northern Canada in 10 days or so. This is the high latitude blocking that one looks for in the wintertime that allows for cold air to penetrate into the eastern U.S. Notice also three other important features at this time, 10 days from now. First of all, deep upper level trough over the Atlantic Ocean, ridging, perhaps weak ridging, but ridging nonetheless over the central part of the nation, and a deep upper level trough over the west coast. Let's move ahead from this particular time frame, 10 days from now, to a few days beyond. And here we go. Notice what happens here. This is, again, about 2 weeks out from now. This deep upper level trough over the Atlantic Ocean actually retrogrades and moves from the east to the west, sets up a deep upper level trough, or a deepening upper level trough over the eastern part of the U.S. Still have high latitude blocking. Again, this is about 2 weeks out in the early part of March. High latitude blocking represented by the oranges here above normal heights over northern Canada and Greenland. The ridge has moved from the central plains, retrograded, moved from east to west to over the Rocky Mountains, and that trough that was along the west coast retrogrades as well, moves out over the eastern Pacific Ocean. This kind of a pattern with a trough in the east, a ridge over the Rockies, a trough over the eastern Pacific, and high latitude blocking to the north often results in an East Coast storm. So we'll have to watch for this. This is way out there in the future in the speculation stage, but big changes are coming to the overall pattern from the record high pressure ridging right now along the northeastern U.S. Coastline to a trough in the east in about 2 weeks, ridging over the Rockies, high latitude blocking to the north, and another trough over the eastern part of the Pacific Ocean, all conducive to the potential for an East Coast storm during the early to middle part of the month of March. Well, two other quick indicators we like to take a look at that are forecasting big changes by the time we get into March. We've talked about these two extensively here, the North Atlantic Oscillation and the Arctic Oscillation Index. Both give some kind of an idea about the temperature and pressure patterns way up there in the North Atlantic, in the Arctic, in the northern latitudes. And the red represents the forecast, and the NAO is forecasted to drop sharply into negative territory in the next couple of weeks. And the similar thing is going to happen to the Arctic Oscillation. In fact, let's take a look at that right now. And here we go, the AO, or the Arctic Oscillation Index, also forecasted to drop sharply over the next several days into negative territory. When these two indices drop into negative territory simultaneously and for a sustained period of time, they tend to be correlated with strong high latitude blocking. Indeed, the models are picking up on that. And strong high latitude blocking this time of the year often leads to cold air masses to penetrate into the eastern U.S. Unlike the last couple of days, in 10 days to 14 days or so, it looks like strong high latitude blocking will set up, and our pattern will get much colder again as we go into the beginning part of March. Well, let's start walking through the near term here. This is the forecast map from last night's 6Z GFS model run for this morning. Lots of color here on the map. What we have here is that strong cold frontal system out over the Ohio Valley, rain in the warm sector, ice and snow in the cold sector behind the frontal system, backed up by strong cold high pressure over the Central Plains right now. That'll head to the east, and we get much colder tomorrow here in the I-95 corridor. Again, record-breaking 70s this afternoon, the 40s tomorrow and Friday. Here's that high pressure situated off the east coast, pumping in the mild air into the eastern U.S. Let's keep moving forward. That frontal system slowly weakens, but it also slowly heads in our direction. Looks like we'll have some showers in the overnight hours here in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Most of today should stay rain-free. And again, record-breaking warmth this afternoon. That front then slides through here by tomorrow morning, and we're much cooler tomorrow morning. And then we see here, we'll just walk through this quickly over the next few days. We have wave after wave pushing into the Mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S. with rain, a possibility, a likelihood on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday, and on Sunday. This is tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. Here we go. Colder air will cause some ice pellets and even some snow way upstate Pennsylvania. Watch out for some sleet or freezing rain. Northern part of New Jersey, interior New Jersey, tomorrow night, northeastern Pennsylvania, and just to the northwest of New York City. Wave number one, throw some rain our way tomorrow, and again, much cooler tomorrow, in the 40s. Then here we go into Friday morning, another wave moving into the cool air mass here in the Mid-Atlantic region. So again, more rain on Friday. Then we move through into the early part of the weekend. Here we go, Saturday morning, another wave starting to head our way. It looks like by late Saturday, we'll be in rain from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City. A little bit milder on Saturday compared to Thursday and Friday. Back up in the 50s, perhaps even the 60s on Saturday. But more rain is likely. This is Saturday night and into Sunday. Again, another wave, another frontal system, more rain. So we go from record-breaking warmth this afternoon in the 70s to the 40s tomorrow, the 40s on Friday. Milder over the weekend, but perhaps a bigger story than the temperature change will be the precipitation. Rain comes into the area overnight tonight, and especially Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as we have big changes coming over the next few days. And then longer term, it looks like big changes coming to the overall pattern across North America, one that is colder come early March, and perhaps will allow for a coastal storm. We'll monitor that, of course, over the next couple of weeks. That's it for now. For VencoreWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.